teeth. It's about those uncomfortable conversations we need to have about race identity and belonging, but it's also about the unexpected connections that can blossom between people from seemingly different worlds.
And it's not just about romantic relationships. Smith explores those themes of connection and community through friendships as well. Take Archie and Samad, for instance. They meet as soldiers during World War II.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Welcome back to Witter, your shortcut to deep dives for busy minds.
That's right.
And this month we're celebrating Black voices.
Yes.
And today we're going to take you on a journey through White Teeth.
Okay.
By Zadie Smith. It's this vibrant, sprawling story set in London. Mm-hmm. And trust me, it's way more interesting than the title might suggest.
It really is.
We're going to untangle its main themes and explore what it tells us about the Black experience.
Okay.
Especially through the character of Clara Bowden.
So what's fascinating about White Teeth is that it's not just a story about race or identity.
Right.
It's a story about everything. Family, faith, history.
Oh, wow.
You name it, all jumbled up in this wonderfully chaotic way that feels incredibly real.
I see. And Clara Bowden is right at the heart of it all.
She is.
Smith describes her as magnificently tall, black as ebony, and crushed sable with hair plaited in a horseshoe, which pointed up when she felt lucky, down when she didn't.
Wow.
It's such a striking image.
Yes.
Right? You instantly get a sense of her strengths and her unique personality.
Yeah, that description really sets the stage for Clara's journey.
I see.
She's this force of nature navigating a world that tries to put her in a box, and she's constantly pushing back against those limitations.
Okay, and her upbringing adds another layer to that complexity.
Okay.
Imagine being raised in a strict Jehovah's Witness family.
Right.
Trying to spread the word on a street corner, only to find yourself seeking refuge in the home of a skinhead after a scooter accident.
Goodness.
That's Clara in a nutshell, defying expectations at every turn.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's a brilliant way for Smith to show us the contradictions that shape Clara's life.
Yeah.
She's rebelling against the rigidity of her religious upbringing, but there's also this underlying vulnerability, this desire for connection that drives her.
And then she meets Archie Jones.
Right.
A middle-aged Englishman who's basically having a midlife crisis after his wife leaves him.
Yeah.
They meet at a party.
Okay.
And their relationship is, well, a bit of a train wreck from the start.
A train wreck, you say. You see, their relationship is a microcosm, a miniature version, you could say, of the larger cultural clashes happening in society.
Right.
They're from completely different worlds.
I see.
With contrasting personalities.
Yeah.
But there's this undeniable pull between them.
It makes you wonder what drew them to each other in the first place.
Right.
Was it genuine attraction, or were they both seeking an escape from their own realities?
Smith doesn't give us easy answers. Yeah. She wants us to sit with that discomfort.
Okay.
To consider the complexities of their choices and acknowledge that sometimes relationships are messy and defy simple explanations.
And that messiness becomes even more pronounced when Clara becomes a mother to their mixed-race daughter, Irie.
Oh, wow.
Now, she's not only navigating her own identity as a Black woman in a predominantly white society,
right,
but also trying to guide her daughter through similar challenges.
Think about it. And Clara's trying to figure out what it means to be Black in a world that often tries to define that for her. And now she has a daughter facing those same questions in a different generation.
Yeah.
It's this powerful reflection of how societal pressures and expectations impact Black women across time.
It's like those expectations are woven into the fabric of their lives.
Exactly. And it's not just individual struggles. It's about how these broader forces of history, colonialism and immigration, ripple through generations, shaping individual experiences.
It's easy to get caught up in the plot twists and turns.
Yeah.
But when you step back and look at the bigger picture, you realize White Teeth is about so much more than just the lives of these characters.
Right.
It's a commentary on what it means to belong. To grapple with your identity in a world that's constantly trying to define you.
And that's where it gets really interesting for our listeners.
Yeah.
How much of ourselves is shaped by our background?
Right.
By the expectations placed upon us? And how do we forge our own paths while honoring our roots? White Teeth doesn't offer easy answers, but it definitely makes you think.
Yeah.
And speaking of those broader forces, one of the things White Teeth does brilliantly is weave together these grand narratives of history and culture with the intimate stories of these families.
It's like we're zooming in and out, getting this panoramic view of society while also getting up close and personal with the characters' lives.
Exactly. Take the Iqbal family, for instance. Samad, the patriarch, is obsessed with his family's history in Bangladesh, particularly the story of his great-grandfather, Mangal Pandey, who rebelled against British colonial rule.
Yeah, you can almost feel the weight of history on Samad's shoulders.
Right.
He sees Pandey as a symbol of resistance, a hero who fought for freedom. But here's the irony. Samad himself is caught between two worlds clinging to tradition while living in modern multicultural London.
And that tension between tradition and modernity plays out in fascinating ways with his twin sons, Majid and Milat. Samad sends Majid back to Bangladesh to be raised in a more traditional Islamic environment, while Milat stays in London and becomes immersed in British culture.
It's a classic nature versus nurture scenario, right?
It is.
But the twist is that neither son turns out exactly the way Samad planned.
Right.
Majid returns to England as a seemingly devout Muslim, but he's also grappling with his own doubts and contradictions. And Milat, well, he ends up joining a radical Islamic group, rebelling in a way that Samad never could have imagined.
It's as if Smith is saying that no matter how hard we try to control our children's destinies or hold on to the past, ultimately they'll forge their own paths. The world has a way of shaping us even as we try to shape it.
It reminds me of that saying, we can't always choose the music life plays for us, but we can choose how we dance with it. And these characters are definitely dancing, sometimes gracefully, sometimes awkwardly, but always moving forward in their own unique ways.
Speaking of relationships that defy expectations, let's circle back to Archie and Clara. Their marriage, built on this foundation of impulsiveness and a desire to escape their pasts, faces a whole new set of challenges as they navigate cultural differences, religious clashes, and the realities of raising a mixed-race child in a society grappling with its own racial tensions.
Their story is like a microcosm of the larger social dynamics at play in White Teeth. It's about those uncomfortable conversations we need to have about race identity and belonging, but it's also about the unexpected connections that can blossom between people from seemingly different worlds.
And it's not just about romantic relationships. Smith explores those themes of connection and community through friendships as well. Take Archie and Samad, for instance. They meet as soldiers during World War II, fighting side by side in a tank.
And in one of the most absurd yet poignant scenes in the novel, Archie accidentally shoots off part of Samad's hand. It's a horrific incident that could have easily driven them apart, but instead it becomes this strange bond that unites them.
It's almost as if their shared trauma, this experience that sets them apart from everyone else, becomes the foundation for their friendship. They're both carrying these invisible wounds, and in each other they find a space to be vulnerable, to acknowledge the complexities of their experiences without judgment.
Their friendship, despite its unconventional beginning, highlights the power of shared experiences to bridge cultural divides. They come from vastly different backgrounds, but they find common ground in their humanity and their shared struggles and triumphs.
And then there's the friendship between Clara and Alsana, Samad's wife. It's fascinating to see how these two women, who initially seem to have nothing in common, forge a bond that transcends their differences. Clara, the outspoken Jamaican woman who challenges conventions, and Alsana, the traditional Bengali Muslim woman who struggles to adapt to life in England, they find solace and support in each other's company.
It's a beautiful example of how female friendships can provide strength and resilience in the face of adversity. They understand each other's challenges in a way that their husbands perhaps never could.
And let's not forget the role of faith in White Teeth. We've got Jehovah's Witnesses, Islam, secular humanism, all these different belief systems colliding and shaping the characters' lives.
It's almost like a religious melting pot.
Yeah.
But instead of blending seamlessly, these beliefs are constantly bumping up against each other, creating friction and sparking debate.
It makes you think about the role of faith in a multicultural society. Is it a source of division, or can it be a bridge that connects people from different backgrounds?
White Teeth doesn't shy away from exploring the hypocrisy and contradictions within organized religion, but it also shows us the power of faith to provide comfort, meaning, and a sense of community. It's a nuanced portrayal that reflects the complexities of religious experience in a world that's constantly evolving. So, as we've been talking about these different families and their struggles, one theme that keeps coming up is this tension between tradition and modernity. It's like they're constantly caught between holding on to their roots and adapting to this new world.
Absolutely, and that tension is especially pronounced with Samad. He's so fixated on preserving his family's traditions, sending Majid back to Bangladesh for a more authentic upbringing. Yet, he himself is living in London, working at a trendy Indian restaurant that caters more to Western palates than traditional Bengali cuisine.
It's almost comical, right? He's railing against the erosion of tradition while participating in a system that's like commodifying and adapting those very traditions for a modern audience. He can't escape the irony.
Precisely. And it highlights the complexities of navigating identity in a multicultural society. It's not a simple equation of either clinging to the past or fully assimilating. It's about finding a way to honor your heritage while also embracing the evolution of culture and identity.
And Clara embodies that struggle too. She breaks free from the constraints of her Jehovah's Witness upbringing, but there are still moments where she grapples with questions of faith and spirituality. Remember that scene where she visits her grandmother Hortense in Jamaica? Hortense is this devout Christian who believes the world is ending, and Clara, despite her own secular leanings, finds herself drawn into her grandmother's world, seeking a sense of connection and belonging in those familiar rituals.
That scene is so powerful because it shows us the enduring pull of tradition, even for those who seemingly moved away from it. It suggests that our cultural roots run deep, shaping our perspectives and influencing our choices in ways we might not even realize.
It's like those traditions are part of our DNA. And even when we try to break free, they're still there, whispering in the back of our minds.
And let's not forget about Irie, Clara's daughter. She's growing up in this world where she's constantly being forced to choose between her Black identity and fitting into the predominantly white culture around her.
Her journey is a powerful reminder that this tension between tradition and modernity is often deeply personal. It's about reconciling the values and beliefs we inherit with the realities of the world we live in. And it's a journey that doesn't have easy answers.
Exactly. White Teeth doesn't offer simple solutions or neat resolutions. Instead, it presents us with a messy and multifaceted portrait of human experience, inviting us to grapple with the complexities alongside the characters.
And that's what makes it such a compelling read. It's a novel that embraces ambiguity and challenges us to think critically about our own assumptions about identity, culture, and belonging.
One of the most intriguing aspects of the book is how it dismantles the idea of fixed identities. The characters are constantly evolving, their beliefs and values shifting as they encounter new experiences and navigate the complexities of their relationships.
It's like Smith is suggesting that identity is not a destination, but a journey, a constant process of becoming.
And that fluidity is reflected in the novel structure, too. We jump back and forth in time, weaving together multiple narratives and perspectives. It mirrors the way our own memories work, fragmented, nonlinear, and constantly shaping our present understanding of ourselves.
It's also worth noting the role of humor in White Teeth. Even amidst all these heavy themes of identity, culture, and faith, Smith manages to infuse the novel with wit and absurdity.
That humor is essential because it prevents the book from becoming too preachy or overwhelming. It allows us to laugh at the characters' foibles, to recognize our own shared humanity, and to approach these complex issues with a sense of lightness and even joy.
Because ultimately, White Teeth is a celebration of life, in all its messiness, contradictions, and triumphs. It's a novel that embraces diversity, challenges us to think critically about the world around us, and reminds us of the power of human connection.
And as we wrap up our deep dive into White Teeth, we want to leave you with a question to ponder. What are some other works by Black authors that explore similar themes of identity, culture, and the immigrant experience?
There's a whole world of stories out there waiting to be discovered. And by engaging with those stories, we can continue to learn, grow, and expand our understanding of the human experience.
So keep those questions swirling, Philip Bookworms, and we'll catch you on the next episode of WHTTR.
Happy reading.